Hi and welcome to Shaky Sports Journeys. Pleasure as always to be on with another great guest today. Not a normal type of podcast where we're talking through the journey, etc. That's been and dusted, been done and dusted with this chap. Might chat again when he finally hangs the boots up. There's a good few years left. I say hello and welcome to the Scotland cricket captain, Kyle Coetzer. How are you, mate?
All right, Shaky. Yeah, I'm great. Thanks, mate. Looking forward to playing some cricket. We've had a decent summer and that. The weather's been pretty kind to us, I guess. So it'd be nice to get some international cricket on the go.
Are you still a batsman or are you a bowler these days? Because all I keep seeing is wickets, mate. It's like reliving the junior days again. Seeing your name, even in the regional series, you're knocking poles out and stuff like that. What's going on?
Well, look, if you get me talking about my bowling, we'll be here all day. So
I get enough snippets when I message you about it. I get the full rundown. I even got the links to see the proof of it. But no, listen, impressive, mate. Impressive that at the latter part of your career, you're still turning the arm over well. Is there chance? Are you going to be that secret weapon again for Cricket Scotland?
You just got to keep it. It's been kept quiet for a long time. This bowling, so yeah, you just never know when it'll come out.
Well, I think
look, Shaky. I bowled more overs this season for my club than I have in my whole career. I reckon there's been a lot of overs this season. I'm pretty well up to speed with the stats on my bowling, not necessarily my batting, but the bowling. I know exactly how many wickets and how many overs I've bowled. But it's all in good fun, and yeah, look, just enjoying my cricket, I'm looking forward to maybe having a bowl at you one day, Shaky. But
it's been talked about, but COVID times we have some plans, but maybe look at next summer. And gives me a bit more time to get myself prepared for it. I hear you use dodgy cricket balls. Richie Berrington was telling me just watch what he uses. But look, when that time comes, I look forward to the challenge. So the reason for today's podcast is obviously exciting times for Cricket Scotland. The women are actually out in La Manga at the moment, and they're killing it. I think they just bowled France out for 26. So they look well on their way to securing a qualification spot, which is brilliant to see. But obviously the men have still to take on that challenge. And it all starts now. It's been a really painful time, I'd imagine, for the squad, for the coach, for the backroom staff, that there hasn't been much cricket. Thankfully, you managed to get the regional series played. I managed to get down and see a little bit of that cricket. There was some good cricket on show, and good to see the West win it. West is best at the end of the day. Hear all this chat these days that the East are the main players, but not. I back the boys from the West. But you've got the Zimbabweans in town soon. They're currently over in Ireland playing, and you've got 3 games against them at Edinburgh. That must be a breath of fresh air for you.
Yeah, look. Unfortunately, we've had tour after tour. There's potential of them, and then cancelled, and then the same thing again and again. And we were lucky actually to get away and play a couple of ODIs in Holland, which was great. Challenging conditions over there. They weren't necessarily high scoring games. There's plenty of weather around, but we came away with a 1-1 draw in the end. But some good character shown by some of our players. And then obviously the Zim series coming up is really exciting for us. We've been crying out for opportunities to try and play, and look, with COVID and the issues with traveling internationally for home and away teams, like just trying to get these fixtures on is it's just been an absolute logistical nightmare. So credit to everyone in-house. They've done a great job getting this on, and providing nothing changes again in the world of COVID, we should be able to crack on with it. But it'll be a couple of really exciting games. So I hope everyone's ready and raring to watch and see how we get on.
Fans, people are going to be allowed to come in. I believe tickets are available. That'll be quite nice to get to play in front of your home crowd before a squad gets in the plane. Obviously, just on the record at the moment, there has not been a squad finalised at the moment. So I'll just be asking you in general about some of the players, but we can't officially say anything on who's going to be on that plane. But again, then it's a great opportunity for guys to really put their hands up in these 3 games and say, Well, I've got my seat warm. Get me on there.
Yeah, I'm really excited and believe that we've got more than enough in the tank to take on the Zimbabweans, who will be a dangerous side. They're also they're I think a changing side, bringing in some fresh young players and with a mix of experience in there. But I believe we've got enough in the tank to really put them under pressure and come away with a series win. Actually, I've been hugely excited about the prep and the skills that have been on show from our players throughout the regional series and the trial series, which we recently held in the last 2 weeks. It was just gobsmacked. I was gobsmacked by the talent and the power and the skill that was on show from the batters especially, but there was also some real skill, and it got better from the bowlers second half of the back end, the last day or two, from the bowlers as they got into their work, because we were playing on good pitches, and you just got to be on point and ready to perform, because if you're not, the players are doing some scary things these days, and our guys, we've got some really dangerous players, and I'm hugely positive for the future ahead.
Yeah, it's interesting you say that, because I've actually been following a lot of the scores, especially even in club cricket, and I've been thinking to myself, when I was coming through and I was playing National League, Premier League, which was probably the high standard of cricket that we were able to get in Scotland at the time. You had all the best players playing in that league. You had all the best overseas pros, and there were some big names kicking about then. But you weren't seeing guys hitting 150 plus. You weren't seeing, you were maybe getting a guy score 110, 120, a good solid pro or a good top Scotland batsman batting through the overs and getting a decent one-day score. I watched the semi-final between Clydesdale and Watsonians over at Clydesdale, and all he hears was on about 100 and many, and there were still 20 overs left, and I'm sitting there just thinking, like, this is different cricket altogether. I actually spoke to him halfway through the game after he got out, and I said, there was any part of you at any point that thought, I still got 20 overs left here, I could get a double hundred or get what? And he was like, well, no, the way I was thinking about it was, if I just keep whacking it, then the score's going to keep rising, and I could go, who knows where I could go. And I thought, that's the kind of attitude that we probably have not had in the past. And I'm talking 10, 15 years ago, where probably safety was first. And it's interesting talking to Grant Bradburn on the podcast when we talk about you, and he's obviously an important figure, and where you kind of transitioned into having that freedom to play your game, because your mentality before would have been, I need to stay at the wicket, I need to bat long because, I'm an important player for the team. Whereas he kind of just said, well, you're a world level player and you need to go and be free. Is that a message that's now just gone all the way through the squad, clearly, from what you're saying?
Yeah, look, it's not being reckless. There's a difference between being reckless and being aggressive. We have certainly got a mindset that we're going to go out there and play exciting, positive cricket, but it's about believing in your skills, and there are options. You've been there as a batter, shaky, where you think, oh, do I need to take this guy down? And majority of the times you'd say, oh, well, I'll maybe just hang in there a little bit longer. But now we're trying to give that confidence, and not only to our senior players, but the players throughout the pathway, that that confidence, you have to go and take on these shots. Not all the time, but if you're sure that that's the option that you need to do and need to take on, you have to let's take them on, be confident and execute the shot. Because if you're not fully in committed to it, then that's when we get out. That's when you just pop up, catch the short cover or a leading edge. If you're committed to that stroke, more often than not, it'll go over cover or it'll go over mid-on's head or whatever the case may be. But look, just to give you an example of where the game's going in the world and in Scotland, use the Eastern Knights, for example, this season. There are players within that side that have scored over 450 3 times this year as a team in 50 over cricket. I was on the receiving end of it in one game in the regional series. I must say, my bowling figures, I was still only going at 5s, so still only going at 5s, one for whatever. But went for 4 Scotland select, like a academy team, or an A team really, went and played against Durham A team, and they also scored over 400, and I think it was close to 450. And I just remember I went and watched part of that game, and you could just see the faces on the Durham players were just absolutely amazed by what they were seeing. And this isn't the first time. We've done this regularly in the last couple of years in Scotland. And when I say regularly, it's not like every game. I mean, we do it once, twice a season, but it's already happened about 4 or 5 times this year. Matthew Cross has got a double hundred in the league this year. Ollie Ayres has got a couple of big scores. Barrington's got a couple of hundreds. You just look around and see some of the scores that these players are pulling off in league cricket, then regional cricket, then A-team cricket. It's just incredible. And we've done it on the world stage now. We haven't played much in the last couple of years, but we have. We did it against the best. So we know that's a style that we're promoting, and that's a style that that's where the bar is now, and that's what we're expecting. It doesn't happen every game. You got to play each game accordingly, but that's what we're looking at.
So I guess then it's, if a player knows and you expect, well, he likes to, let's pick a George Munday, for instance, he likes to reverse sweep, and he goes out and he goes for reverse sweep, and he chops it up and it goes to short third man and he walks off. He's not going to be getting grilled by the head coach and the captain saying, what are you doing there? Because he can play that shot. So is that kind of the mentality that's there?
Yeah, definitely. 100%. Look, I think we're all pretty disappointed if George doesn't play a reverse sweep against a spinner within his first 6 balls. We can pretty much call it when it's going to happen, and that's how well we know each other as players now. Is we sit back, and it doesn't have to be George. It'll be another player, and we say reverse sweep in the next 3 balls. That'll happen, or someone will come down in the next 3 balls. Like, we can, you look at the field, you look at the options, and we can see the positive option that our players are going to take. So, like I said before, there's a difference between being reckless and playing positive cricket and smart cricket, really. Reckless, you could just swing across the line and go straight up in the air, no plan. You're looking to hit over boundary riders. Here, where the fielders are in the ring, you look to hit over them and take on that option if it's the right time in the game. And our guys are really willing to sit on the top of the fringe of the wave there, where you can just topple off the other edge. You can get out, but they're comfortable at sitting at the top end of that now and taking on the risks that are required at that time.
Skipper, you'll be proud of me. I brought up my 50 on Saturday with a reverse sweep. Not quite a Monday reverse sweep that it landed over the line or one bounce. It was a lot finer, but just a wee tickle to bring up the 50. I don't think I've played a reverse sweep in about 10 years, so I was really buzzing about that. I was sitting on Saturday night thinking, yeah, I feel good. I had a reverse sweep for 4.
Yeah, Shaky. Well, you always did have that the skill to do that, and I've seen you play that shot before. But I reckon if you were in the environment now, you'd be looking to be playing it a lot more than what you have done, and you'd probably be looking to try and play it a bit more powerfully as well. You had the fine touch, I would say, as a player. That was the style of player you were. Fine touch.
Yeah, but I think
determination.
I think the failure factor was a big factor when I would, and I'm not talking just about myself. I'm talking about in general. Like I would feel like if I played a shot like that and got out, I'd probably get, was that the shot to play? And it's good to hear that environment is a safer environment now. I think a better environment for players to express themselves, because the only way you're going to compete with the big boys, you have to express yourself. You can't just play in second and third gear and play safe. These teams will beat you. So 3-0 against Zimbabwe. That's what I'm rooting for. Or we'll take a 2-1. But like you say, it's a proper series. Good chance to really let the world of cricket know that Scotland still very much mean business, and they've been working away behind the scenes during COVID times. And then there will be a squad named, I'm sure, and a bunch of guys will get on the plane, and you will head out to the UAE and Oman to do your best to qualify for the T20 World Cup that will take place in Dubai as well, again, due to all the changes that have taken place with COVID. Let's have a look at your group. So Bangladesh, test playing nation, been around for a long time. Imagine you'll come up against quite a few good spinners. They've obviously got a world-class all-rounder in Shakib Hassan. What's your hopes for that game?
Yeah, simply, I believe that we have enough in the tank to beat Bangladesh. We've run them close in the past. We've actually beaten them in the past as well.
Yep.
And like any cricket side in the T20 format, the margins are very, very fine, and one player on either side can take the game away. I believe strongly in the abilities with the bat and ball, that we have more than enough to knock over Bangladesh. Looking at them, they just beat Australia in a T20 series, and then I think Australia just beat them in the ODI series. So you can see that they're playing some decent T20 cricket to beat a side like Australia. But who's to say that they did? They must have deserved it. They beat them 4-1. They completely played them. So I think, I believe that we've got more than enough skill to beat Bangladesh. It'll be a tough ask and tough task, especially playing in Oman. It'll be hot, something that our boys aren't necessarily used to. But we're trying to address that with some heat acclimation training at the moment.
Yeah, I seen that. You're inside this little tent, and you were saying you put an Insta post up saying that's not water. So it's just basically you cycle inside this.
Yeah, there's a heater. There's a heater inside this tent that we're in, and in my tent, if I remember correctly, it was temperatures were getting up to 35, 36 degrees. So you're cycling in there, and you're in there for 50 minutes. And we're trying to do that a couple of times a week, just so the boys are getting used to, being in those temperatures, trying to perform, pushing yourself a little bit. Yeah, it's tough, but it's great. It's ticking an extra box. It's something that we haven't done before. But yeah, Shaky, getting back to that Bangladesh game, look, it's going to be a massive game. There's no, there's no two ways about it. It's going to be a huge game. I believe we've got skills to beat them. We know they're a dangerous side. There's no point in disrespecting them, because they're a fine unit. They're they're a bit of a younger team as well, I think, at the moment. So we've got some exciting players, but on any given day, I believe we're good enough to beat any team at T20 cricket. So especially with the team that we have and the squad of players.
You've got good positive history with them. You obviously you smoked a big 100. The 2015 World Cup against them, and you played the spin very, very well. I feel like some people are talking about a lot of the other players in the squad right now, and they're forgetting about old man Kyle Coetzer. That you're still are the most recognised player from Scotland, and it shows with obviously becoming the Associate Cricketer of the Decade as well. That you've done it, been there, and you've done it at this level. You must have quite high expectations for yourself going into this tournament.
Yeah, of course I do. Look, I love playing in the world stage. Playing in World Cups is just, these opportunities don't come around very often, and when you're there, you've got to try and make the most of it, and you can't be scared to play in them. You got to put your neck out in the line and say, right, I'm all in here, and I'm going for it. And yeah, look, there's loads of pressure on my shoulders in terms of making sure I'm performing at the highest level, because we've got some seriously dangerous and talented players in the wings waiting to play, and some seriously talented players, dangerous players that will be on that plane. So it's just frightening, to be honest, to see what skills some of the boys have. So yeah, I'm backing myself to perform. I feel like I batted really well this season, and often with cricket, it's about timing. You got to hit your straps at the right time. Scored a load of runs. Yes, granted, it being club cricket this season, but that's the only opportunity we've had to perform, as well as some regional games. And it's just about timing. You got to get that right. Make sure you're prepped, and then you hit your straps when the tournament comes around. And I'm confident I'm on that road there. So let's see what happens. I'll be giving it my all, that's for sure. But I've got complete confidence in every one of those players. I think the important thing in this World Cup in those conditions is the ability to play spin. And I think we've got some fantastic players of spin throughout our lineup. And, no disrespect to any Scotland squad going away that have been away previously to anywhere in the world beforehand, but I believe this to be the strongest team of playing spin we've ever had. And I'm full of confidence for them.
Yeah, because I was looking at the other two fixtures, Papua New Guinea and Oman, Bangladesh. I don't think you're going to be coming up against too many guys bowling 90 clicks. What I do think you're going to be coming up against is lots of guys bowling spin, be it left arm, be it right arm, right hand. There'll probably be some different type of actions that you're probably not used to playing. I mean, from playing against Papua New Guinea and Oman myself in the past, they always have some day. It's a little bit different kind of challenge. Drier conditions, slower wickets are all going to be challenges. But you boys have got quite a bit of experience of playing in Dubai already.
Yeah. So, those conditions, Oman, Dubai, I guess, are fairly similar to, I think it's a 5-6 hour car journey if you wanted to do it by road, apparently. We have played in Oman and we will be there before the World Cup, actually, playing in a series against Oman. And yeah, so we'll get a sight of the ground again and sight of the conditions. There's different challenges when you play against Oman and PNG. Just to give you a little bit of a perspective on that, Oman are a very, very dangerous and fast developing team. Lots of exciting players there. They can be explosive or they can be horrendous on the same day, on different days, if that makes sense. But we know that when they're explosive, they're a match for many teams, or any team really. They'll have some skillful bowlers with the seam bowling department, and they've got a handful of really, really good spinners. So you got to be on your game every day against Oman, because they're a dangerous unit, and they're improving too, and they're improving fast. PNG, fast paced all the time. It seems as if every one of their players can run 100 meters in 10 seconds. Like they're just absolutely rapid across the ground. So the running between the wickets with them is just, it's just spectacular to watch. The fielding is unbelievable. Their agility and movement.
They've worked really hard in that area of their game.
Their agility across the surface is just incredible to watch. And they're disciplined with the ball. That's what I would say. They're disciplined. They haven't necessarily got the pace of some of the other teams. They're quite a few of the bowlers are on the smaller side, I would say. So they'll run along the ball, scoot along the surface, not a huge amount of bounce. They'll be disciplined, and they just wait for you to make mistakes. So that's the difference in the styles, really. They're a busy, really busy team.
Noisy. I'd imagine they're quite noisy in the field.
Yeah,
putting that buzz on you as much as possible. But so how do you tackle something like that kind of energy? Does that make you nervous to rotate the strike as much? Is it something you are talking about as a squad?
Yeah, I think I'm a believer in speaking about the elephant in the room. Don't be scared to hide some of the facts. You're best to talk about it so everyone's aware of it, and then you can move on. If I know there's been instances of successful coaches and captains over the years that have just avoided talking about something because they didn't want to bring it up, so it didn't become an issue. But it's always there. As far as I'm concerned, you always know it's always there. So you might as well talk about it and get it out of the way so guys can then move on. We have been caught up in the emotions a couple of times, especially against Oman, where quite a noisy, boisterous dressing room and support staff and has got the wrong side of us before, so we're well aware of that. You just got to, I actually believe in riding the wave. I say it a lot to our lads: use the emotion that comes to you in the day. Use it as far as you need to, and then before you drop off the other edge, before it gets worse off for you. So use the emotion. If there's things in the game, let that get you going, let that get you into the game, and ride along with it, because often it can just keep you going and keep you sort of switched on the really important moments of the game. So it's important for us to just make sure that we don't go over the top with some of that stuff, and just be aware that it's there. And you've got to play well at play the way we want to, and play well in our style and our manner, and that'll stand us in good stead.
We've talked a lot about the batting strength, and it's refreshing to hear that you're going to be getting on the plane with a lot of options of a lot of guys that can clear the ropes, play reverse sweeps, play spin well. You've got left hand and right hand options. It's exciting, looking back at squads of the past, there was one or two standout players who you were relying on heavily to score the runs. Whereas now, I mean, even the likes of a Mark Watt, who I think could turn into a really, really good all-round cricketer for Scotland. I mean, he'll probably be coming in the latter part of the order, but still dangerous guy, can clear the ropes. I've seen Safi just scored 100 down in Newcastle just over the weekend. Still like to see Safi score a few more runs for Scotland. I think the ability is there. I don't think he's produced it the way the potential is there, but it's bloody handy to have that kind of depth in your batting lineup. But we're excited about that. But with the ball, obviously, again, we can't zone in and say, well, what's the attack going to look like? Because you and I are both in the same situation at the moment, that it's not been fully announced yet. But just to talk about some of the bowlers that I know of that have been playing around the setup, Safi's obviously one of them, been around for a long, long time now, has played now at the top level and shown he can hold his own. He's got a lot of experience as well, playing in Dubai conditions. He's going to be somebody that, he's a senior cricketer now. He's not the young kid anymore. There's going to be high expectations of him.
Yeah. Look, Shaky, you mentioned, I'm happy to speak about any of our bowlers during this conversation, that we've got a battering ram of seamers at the moment, and it's brilliant to see, and it's frightening in some respects when you rock up to practice and you think, wow,
facing some wheels today.
Yeah, look, funnily enough, every time I turn up to practice at the moment, it's a fresh pitch, it's a new white ball, and there's bowlers just lining up at the back of their marks, running in to try and get them. But that's how you improve, because we're being pushed to our limits more often now, which is what we need to do. And
you would normally be used to turning up and facing Gordon Drummond and Craig Wright back in a certain era. And
I wasn't going to name any names, Shaky, but
I'll say it. That we only really had, I think, Blaney and Nelly back in those times that had a bit of heat about them. But then you had a couple of trundlers coming in at you. You even had Ryan Watson thinking he was a medium pacer 1 minute and off spinner the next. But now you've got, like you mentioned, just to name some of the names, I mean, Sol, I hear is bowling sharp. You've got Gavin Main. You've got
Ali Evans.
Obviously, Ali Evans. Is the boy Brad Wheel, is he in contention?
Yeah, all the bowlers. Look, I'll just run through.
Go for it.
There's plenty of bowlers in contention, but the couple of boys at the county scene, Brad Wheel and Josh Davey. Josh has been captaining Somerset of late in the Royal London. Brad Wheel obviously did excellently in the 100 as well, and he's seriously making a name for himself very quickly, not only in the county circuit but in the franchise scene. You've got the likes, Gav Main, Adrian Neil, Ali Evans is bowling excellently. Look, there's just a battering ram of seamers there at the moment. It is certainly slightly different batting the nets now than what it was before, because before you were worried about Drummer or righty nipping it back and hitting you in the box or the inside thigh. You weren't always as worried about them maybe knocking your head off. But I'm not saying they've certainly done that, I think, to a few people. But they were different styles of bowlers, weren't they? So we've got a battering ram of seamers that we can pick from, and that is one of the main reasons where the Scottish team has got to where it has done today. I haven't even mentioned the likes of Rory Smith, who does well for Glamorgan on a consistent basis, and he was up at the trial series and he bowled brilliantly as expected. So there's just a battering ram seamer. So to try and pick out of those, well, good luck to anyone who's trying to pick your best bowlers out of those. But it's a tough task, and it's what we want to have.
Let's talk about you and the head coach. I'm interested to know a bit more about how things are going between both of you. I've spoken to Shane now on numerous occasions. Great guy, young coach. So I'm sure he brings that energy to the group. But I feel a bit sorry for him because he hasn't really been able to stamp his mark. We lost the New Zealand fixtures way back at the start of COVID. The schedule just keeps moving back and back and back. Poor guy, it must be getting a bit frustrated, but he seems to keep himself calm and and he's got his head very much switched on. But he must be, and you as well, both of you must be ready now to burst into the Zimbabwe series and really show, because like you say, we really do have a lot of exciting talent now.
Yeah. Look, I'm on your side there. I feel really sorry for Shane, since he's come in. He's got the rough end of the stick really in terms of COVID and cancelled fixtures and cancelled tours, and it's just been logistically been an absolute nightmare for him. Trying to keep players motivated when there's no cricket coming up. How do you do that? But I think with Shane and Nick Karamouzis, our S&C, and Craig Wright now coming back into the picture, we've got a really good support staff there that will get us to where we need to be. We got over the line and qualified for the World Cup. That was one of Shane's first assignments, to qualify for this World Cup. So we got over the line there, and I think he's learned a lot more about the squad and cricket in Scotland, which is a massive part about coaching any associate nation, because it's just so different. It's so different to try and coach an associate nation where facilities are a challenge, fixtures are a challenge, financially. I'm sure every test playing nation will say finances are an issue, but tell you what, finances aren't an issue for them compared to what they are for any associate nation. So they can start using another excuse as far as I'm concerned. So yeah, look, he's done really well, and he's kept the boys going, and he's got us all into a great place at the moment. So just a credit to him. And I've got a great relationship with Shane, and we seem to work really well together. And there's always challenges. You're basically managing a competitive squad of players who everyone's fighting for places, so you can't always keep everyone happy, but you've got to try and do your best to keep pushing the team in the right direction, and Shane's doing a fine job.
No, brilliant. And I think this will be his coming out party with him as head coach and you as captain. I think I'm excited to see. You got 6 massive fixtures coming up. 3 obviously are a great opportunity, as you said, to show what we've got in the squad and make a bit of noise. And I think you guys really could turn over the Zimbabweans in this series. And then going into the crunch games, are we going to qualify?
Shaky, there's not going to be any other answer for me really, other than
I hope not.
I believe that we will. And I've told you the reasons, throughout this chat, that there is more than enough skill and ability and power and pace and nous and experience throughout our team for me to have no doubts that we will qualify for the next round. Look, it's never a 100% thing, but I have real belief inside me that we have more than enough to do the job. It'll be tough. There'll be some bumps along the road, that's for sure. There's going to be some moments in games that we will need someone to put their hand up to win us that game, because we're not turning up. We're not playing against any mugs. Every single cricket team that gets to this stage are a good unit, and PNG won the qualifying tournament, so that just shows that how dangerous sides can be on any given day. So I'm really confident, but we still have to put our hand up when those bumps come along that road.
Well, I'm sure your squad, all of the boys, you've got a good mixture of senior players, and obviously I'll highlight the 3 main players that always stand out in this team at the moment, and that's yourself, Callum and Richie, who I think have still got plenty to offer. I think Richie might be a key guy for you out there with those slow things that he bowls now, and maybe you and him could be trump cards, because I do think taking a bit of pace off the ball out there is always handy in those type of conditions as well. So you've got a bit of everything. You've got a couple of left arm spinners in your squad who are playing good cricket. It's exciting times, lots of batting options. I think I really do see you bullying through that group personally if you play to your potential. But like you say, you need to go there, you need to do the job. Papua New Guinea is the one to watch out for, if you ask me. I think that's the banana skin one in there, and I think you guys are aware of that. So expecting you to be fully focused on doing the job. Plus, they still haunt me from the Under-19 World Cup when we didn't do a calculation right, and they beat us when they really shouldn't have beat us. So I guess from me to you, probably won't speak to you much now between now and your qualifiers, although I have been given a little potential chance to speak to some of you guys while you're away. So maybe I'll catch you in a hotel room in Dubai at some point. But best of luck, rooting for you in the squad, backing the coach and all the backing staff to do the job, and maybe have a really successful series against Zimbabwe, and then Scotland to qualify for the final stages of the T20 World Cup.
Thanks, Shaky. Look, I know that everyone from the team and the squad that does go away, that we've still got to earn the right to perform the way that we want to. So we've got to keep doing the right things, keep behaving the right way, and we'll earn that right to be able to play the cricket that we want to be able to play. With that hard graft done, and I believe that we've got what we need to get us through to where we want to be and where we believe we deserve to be these days. So but it's never given to you. You've got to earn it, and the boys are willing and ready to do that. So appreciate the time with you and all the nice comments. And look, there's plenty of experience in our squad, and I back the likes of Callum and Richie, like you mentioned just before. Look, there's a huge amount of backing for these guys. These guys have played a lot of cricket. They know what they're doing, and they'll be certainly the main players in our team that will be leading us through this campaign. Everyone's going to have to stick their hand up at some stage, but I'll need a lot of help from those two personally, and I look forward to seeing where we end up, and we'll have a chat when we're in Dubai, mate.
Yeah, have a chat when you're in Dubai, and then hopefully an after party podcast when you boys have got over the line. That'd be good to have a chat. Maybe I can get a little group of you on that have all really shined out there. It'd be nice to chat to you. But you look after yourself. Make sure you get plenty of sun cream on your dome when you get out to these warmer climates. I don't want you collapsing or anything. And keep a hat in your head, mate.
Yeah, I will do, mate. I appreciate that. Okay. Thanks very much, Shaky.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers. Bye.